We'd like to call the Plaquemine Parish Council meeting to order at 2:02. Like to have a roll call. I'm talking to the French, yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
All 9 council members are present. The next item on the agenda is executive session. I'm sorry, roll call.
No, the prayer.
I'm sorry.
And the pledge.
Pray and the pledge allegiance.
Everybody bow. We take this moment to acknowledge Almighty God and thank Him for our bountiful blessings, especially the parish's natural resources. We give thanks to God for our brave and courageous men and women in our military who daily risk their lives to protect our precious freedom. And we pray for our world leaders to know how to obtain world peace. We pray that this government body, comprised of both council and administration, will always serve our parish with honesty, humility, and equality to all. And as this government body gathers here today, we pray for the wisdom to know right from wrong and the courage that which is right. Amen.
Rep, I want to acknowledge Miss Buck and her husband, Rob. Rob lost his brother this past week, and I want to keep them in our prayers.
Please do. Thank
We
you.
can take a moment of silence. And
Let's do that.
Please keep them in your thoughts and prayers as they.
Thank you for that, Mitch.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so now executive session. And so now we would like to go into executive session.
Still needs to read it.
Executive session pursuant to LRS 4217A2 and 10 to receive litigation attorney-client privilege communications, PPG versus CPRA, case number 68526, 25th JDC, Parish of Plaquemine, State of Louisiana, Attorney Danny P. Garrett, Councilmember Kotnovich.
It's been offered by Mr. Konovich and second by, I think, Mr. Champagne. Schultz. Schultz, all in favor. Roll call. Okay, we'll now go into executive session. How you turn this thing on? At 2:05. And at 2:19 with nothing binding. Before we continue the agenda today, we had a funeral in Phoenix for American hero, Mr. Nathan Brooks, who fought in the war in Vietnam and was wounded, got a Purple Heart, and we laid him to rest today. So I just wanted to acknowledge his service to the country and keep the, and his brother, Clarence Brooks, who come here, was his brother. It was his brother, so I just wanted to put that on record. Next item.
The proclamation.
Yes.
A proclamation declaring March 2025 as Plaquemine's Port Harbor and Terminal District Month in the Parish of Plaquemine. Councilmember Schultz.
Wake up.
Second.
Second by who?
Councilmember
Dr.
Papardi.
A unanimous second. Roll call.
She's got to read it.
Yes, you read.
You have the proclamation?
Can you read it for us?
Sure can. PPHTD is a critical economic engine for Plaquemines Parish, the state of Louisiana, the greater Gulf Coast region, and the nation, providing vital infrastructure for intentional trade, commerce, and transportation. PPHTD plays a key role in the growth and development of the maritime industry, facilitating the movement of goods, raw materials, and resources. PPHTD contributes significantly to job creation, workforce development, supporting tens of thousands of jobs in numerous industries, and fostering strong partnerships in businesses, government agencies, and community organizations. The leadership and dedicated efforts of the Port District, its staff, stakeholders, and partners have been instrumental in ensuring the continued growth, success, and advancement of the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District, positioning it as a world-class port facility. In recognition of its significant impact on economic growth, job creation, and regional development, it is fitting to honor the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District for its longstanding contributions to the community, parish, state, and nation. The month of March 2025 provides an opportunity to highlight the achievements of the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District and promote awareness of its critical role in sustaining the livelihood and future of Plaquemines Parish. Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District Board of Commissioners adopted a new logo and brand scheduled for public unveiling to the citizens of Plaquemines Parish in March 2025. That's it.
Ms. Schultz. You got it, what's on it? Yeah.
So yes, I'm going to keep this short. Basically, we got a lot going on in the port in March. PAL conference, AAPA conference, new logo, port night. Excuse me. So it was just a way to basically help with the rebranding and logo unveiling coming up in March. So unless if anybody has any other comments, I'm ready to vote.
Any other comments, audience, administration? Roll call. And it's passed this 9 with no against. Next item.
For administration updates.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. On the administration side from Ms. Taylor, she has nothing to report this week. Arts and the recreation with Ms. Morrison. The only thing I'd like to say is it's disheartening is that one of our bathrooms at the Cypress Park got vandalized. This is something that we just remodeled and rebuilt, and here we are, just spray paint. Fortunately, I believe that's all it was, but still, it's just, and this is not people from the outside of the parish. This is our people that is doing it. So whoever it is, I just really wish we could stop it. I think we're going to look at maybe try to get some cameras in the area just to try to maybe slow something like this down here. From public service, the Bell Chase water intake, Entergy released is to turn the power on this week or next. Vendors should be on site, start running the pumps when the power is on. If all goes well, the new water pump station should be put in service by the 10th of March. Once the new pump is in service, it'll be about 6 weeks to demo the old pump and finish all the tie-ins to complete the project. The Alliance Booster Station, Entergy is on site this week to finish that tie-in for permanent power. The animal shelter, we've received the preliminary drawings on it, and we've got a call in with Brockway and SPCA to, I guess, start doing some final drawings on that. The Bell Chase concrete package is scheduled to be complete this week. You've noticed the fire hydrants throughout in the parish. Infomark is gathering up pressure readings. They're weed eating around the fire hydrants, and they're spraying for the weeds. And after collecting and analyzing the data, that will determine what components need to be replaced, and they will be repainted at that time. On the operations, the Empire Swing Bridge, which was out for a while, it's back in service now. The Empire Shipyard, the boat lift, that project's completed. I think did they finish the punch list, or are they still working on that? I know there was pilings.
Still working on the bumper, the top
Key
bumper.
in.
Okay,
And but the pilings are finished.
Yeah.
And we did notice a little seepage coming through.
okay, all right. But the lift is up and running and in service. The Point LaHash Marina, Boat Harbor renovations are still going on. On Homeland Security, Shanta and Patrick had a meeting with GOSEP officials last week concerning remaining residents in what they call non-congregate shelters, which are the travel trailers since Ida. And they're continuing, Patrick's continuing, with the region and the state dealing with Mardi Gras security. It's from Brad Brule, the Director of Projects. On the Bell Chase Bridge and toll updates, plenary. Several meetings with DOT at the opening of all 4 lanes is now shifted from like March 8th to the 10th, and that's from the 5th. And I think shortly thereafter, that's when the tolls will start being collected. Okay, here, tolls will begin a few days after the bridge opens. Tolling is scheduled to begin no earlier than March 13th. And then there's some dates with the toll tags. March 18th in Port Sulphur Community Center from 9 in the morning to 3. The Bell Chase Auditorium, there's 3 different dates, March 20th, the 24th, and the 26th. On the 20th, it's 9 to 3. On the 24th, it'll be 12 to 6. And on March 26th, it'll be back at 9 to 3. So that's what we have from the administration this week.
Question from the audience first. Any question from the audience? Table?
Yes, got a few calls today about the Buras and Venice boat harbors, lights and trash and all. See if we could get them fixed and cleaned up. And I know I talked to Ms. Morris during the week. South Platte girls softball had to cancel a game last night. They playing today and they'll probably have to cancel they didn't get to finish both yesterday. Probably won't finish today, but she's supposed to have the lights getting fixed next week.
I'll get back to you on both of those boat harbors. Both of them are slated for renovation, similar to what they're doing in Empire with the new docks and the new lights and all that. The cleanup, we're having a big issue with that waste oil in Marina. We're gonna work on getting those cameras working and functional. And look, it's gonna turn into a headache because nobody's gonna wanna be the bad guy, but
I know.
people that just don't, we have a big container there, they just choose to set the 5-gallon buckets, and then you go from 1 to 10, 20 to 30, and then we have to get stuck hauling them buckets away. So they started cleaning all that up
I
this week.
know most of the oil comes from from the other marina.
Could be. I mean, that's why we need a camera, to see who when they pull in, or if they walk off a dock with it.
Change
We
the
are following
oil
up
and
on
then
that.
put it back in the water.
Yeah, I'll follow up with you on that.
All right, thank you.
Champagne?
Schultz.
Schultz, I'm sorry.
So last meeting, we talked about grants and stuff and was supposed to get a list of what we sent to them, and then they were supposed to get priority. Do we have that yet, or?
Yeah, it's like I told you earlier.
Yeah, do we have what we sent to them?
We have the list, but we sent it back because we wanted to refine the list.
Okay, when do we expect that?
Probably Monday, I'm sure, early.
Okay, can you send it to us as soon as you can? That way we can, I know Habo has some stuff on there
Yeah,
that we were
no.
talking about, so, thank you.
Yeah, Mr. President, I know we spoke about this morning, but I just want to get it out there for public consumption. We're talking about the toll starting, and lately DOTD's track record has been one that's, we find out things as they're occurring rather than ahead of time. Not something you can control, but again, I'd really like to be able to tell our constituents what day we're going to start tolling. And number two, I hope that tolling starts when the bridge is actually done and that close to done and the lights aren't working and things like that. So substantial completion means something. I'm going to go back and review the contract myself, but I'd like to make sure that when they begin this, we do have a nearly finished product. We're not trying to drive across this thing with no lights or things missing. If we're going to pay, we need to pay for a completed product. But again, I would appreciate if you could get them to give us a firm start date, because the last thing we need is congestion because vehicles are like, oh my, I'm not paying that toll, and they're trying to make last minute alternative routes and just causing more commotion. So a good firm date would be very helpful. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. And for the public, can we expand on, I know we was in Baton Rouge yesterday for a meeting 2.5 hours, and what they talked about Plaquemines was about 20 minutes, but it was some good good things that came out of. Can you just expand on the meeting that we had, that we sat in? Thank you.
Well, basically, yesterday, Senator Connick just wanted to bring plenary and the bridge to the table to get these firm dates and just let them know that they're on record and, the amount of the fines, that they're up to probably 3-point-something million dollars or
He said around $3.5 million.
$3.5 million. And they asked also if it could be up to $5 million at the end of the day. So what they're wanting to know is if to put that towards the tolls and the pay down. So there shouldn't be a problem with that. And then also we talked about the Walker Road extension, Peters Road. I'm going to get it. All right. It's the Peters Road extension. That is high on the radar at the governor's office as well. So basically that's, like I said, it was a joint transportation committee meeting. A lot of talk was at the beginning of the meeting. It was just the administration of DOTD and the route that they're going. But the real meat of the meeting was all Plaquemines Parish, and it was both bridges.
Yeah, some good conversation. Thank you, Mr. President. They really, Peters Road Bridge is high on Baton Rouge's list, so we appreciate that, and thank you, and I'm done.
Well, since we high on their list, I read the other day they got a 600 million surplus in their budget, so maybe they could pay off the bridge. Maybe we should start talking to them about that since they don't want to fix any of the other road.
I can tell you this, Mark, that when we were up there, I'm going to tell you, between Senator Connick and Representative Breaux, myself, we have those conversations constantly. We are in communications with Secretary Donahue. You got to think back in the past, there's a reason there's no tolls on the Crescent City connection. And that was when Senator Connick was a state representative. So we've got the right person on our side when it comes to these tolls.
Well, our problem is the parish isn't sticking together, because when we went up there to fight against the tolls, there was a group fighting, said they was for it. So we need to get everybody on the same page.
Yeah. I wasn't up there fighting for the tolls, so that
I'm not saying
preceded
you.
me.
I'm not saying you, I said an organization.
Right.
Yes. Mr. Witcher, I know I asked previous, and I guess kind of slipped our mind, but I would like to get a quote or a price on getting a crusher to get that material out of Diamond Park.
I'll follow up on that.
Thank you.
Actually, we had a conversation about some of that material, the material down in Boothville as well. So I'll follow up on that, get you an answer.
Good. And also that trash that was someone dumped in Diamond Park, I don't think it's our local people. Because the local people, they take the garbage and they put it on side the road. They put that trash on side. They ain't gonna take it and go all the way to Diamond Park and do that. So, Ms. Ashley, I appreciate if you look into getting us some cameras and we start using it. And maybe we need to start, get us some legislation on people that's littering, that's in our park, and put some meat to it, and we get them fined or prison, whatever. But we need to start doing that now. Or anybody that doing damage to our.
Yeah, I'll follow up on that with you too. But look, we have plenty of laws on the books now. It's just
Right.
enforcing them. It's already illegal dumping. We don't have to reinvent the wheel on that one.
Right.
Litters, if a paper cup blows out the back of your truck going down the road, when you purposely pull up and unload a whole trailer's worth of trash, that's illegal dumping.
And we didn't find a name in there.
No.
Okay, thank you. And the park looked good.
Mr. President, I want to thank the parish for the rock that's on the levee and also putting the rocks in the Dave Van Park for the Plaquemines Parish down the road Mardi Gras. But I have some serious concern when I went on Facebook the other day and saw the meeting about economic development thing, and that I know I wasn't invited as chairman of the council, so I had a council member in it. And so I'm wondering why we wasn't invited to that meeting, something of that nature. The other thing that got to me, and I guess it's legal, I'm not saying it's legal, but it seemed like when I saw it power forward, to me, my appearance, my perspective, looked like it was more of a campaign thing than anything else. So I'm really concerned. I'm hoping that, I felt, first of all, disrespected. Let me just say that, because of something in the nature, especially where I've been talking about FEMA for a long time, to see something of that nature, at least council members wasn't in there, especially if we're gonna power plaque forward, it's about all of us being a part of that power. So again, I can't speak for other council, but I felt disrespected that I wasn't even invited to a meet of that nature. And I'm seeing it on Facebook, not as something that Paris doing, but more as a campaign thing. Not that that was your intention, but that's how I took it. So I'm just hoping that in the future, stuff of that nature, that we'll be invited to that, especially whoever in this position. I felt like the chairman or the pope should have been there. I'm the chairman of the council, should have been there. If it's something of the nature based on the advertisement that I saw on Facebook, like it's something that we all should have been involved in. So I just hope that that you don't do that kind of stuff no more, because it looked more like campaigning than serving as the parish president. I really believe, I don't really believe that meeting was just for your campaign. I want to believe that, but when you do stuff like that, it makes people believe. Because I had a lot of people call me and ask me why wasn't at the meeting. So I called several council members, because the picture don't show everything. And when I found out most of them wasn't there, then I really think that's a problem. So I just want to tell you, personally, I felt disrespected.
Okay.
Any other? Next item, please.
5, bids and advertisements. 5A, a resolution authorizing the acceptance of bids for furnishing chemicals for a period of 1 year for use by the Water Sewer Department and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
Offer. Been offered, second vote. Tabo. Any questions, comments from the audience? Administration, table. Machine is open. And it passed with a 9-0. Next item.
A resolution authorizing the purchasing agent to advertise for and dispose of surplus vehicles and equipment on an as-is basis through public auction conducted by Henderson Auctions and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
Offer. Second by Mr. Tabo. Audience, administration, table. Machine is open. And it passes 9-0. Next item.
6, beer and liquor licenses. A, Plaquemines Parish Family Gras fundraiser for Phoenix High School on March 2nd, 2025, starting at 8:00 a.m. and ending at 5:00 p.m., located at Daven Park. Belchase Fuel Mart, 8180 Highway 23, Belchase, Louisiana. Changes Restaurant, 42939 Highway 23, Venice, Louisiana. Houdat Bar, 17059 Highway 15, Daven, Louisiana. Moss Sandwich and Snack Shop, 39570 Highway 23, Buras, Louisiana. Sea Train Tavern, 9080 Highway 23, Belchase, Louisiana. Asahi Belchase, 102 Woodland Highway, Belchase, Louisiana. Zydeco's Restaurant, 7010 Highway 23, Belchase, Louisiana. Delta Marina A, 317 Rosemary Drive, Buras, Louisiana. Delta Marina B, 317 Rosemary Drive, Buras, Louisiana. Mimi's New Orleans Cafe, 7614 Highway 23, Suite B, Belchase, Louisiana. Express Food and Fuel, 14715 Highway 23, Belchase, Louisiana.
It's offered and second. Audience, administration, machine is open. And it passes 9 with no opposition. Next item, please.
Crescent Midstream, application number 2025-21, dated January 13th, 2025, performed emergency remediation activities due to an emergency spill Empire on the east side of the Mississippi River. Councilmember Edwards.
Offer.
Second.
Second by Mr. Newsom. Any comments from the audience? Administration table. Machine is open for voting. Show your voting. And it passes 8 with Councilman Akanovich abstaining. Next item, please.
B, Lauren Austin condition.
Been deferred.
8, introduction of ordinances and resolutions.
The first ordinance is on behalf of Councilmember Edwards, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan renovations, Braithwaite Park project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. The next one is for Councilmember Champagne, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan, Quadplex Grandstand project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. The following 3 are for Councilmember Schultz, an ordinance to amend the 2025 firefighting capital outlay maintenance designation fund balance and the firefighting fund unreserved undesignated fund balance, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the provisions of Chapter 20 of the Plaquemines Parish Code of Ordinances to provide for the preservation of heritage trees and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. The next year for Councilmember LaFrance. An ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan, repairs Diamond Park project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend ordinance number 0656, which prohibits the erection of billboards along Highway 23 from the Plaquemines Parish Jefferson Parish line up to the Alliance Refinery. And the final one is for Councilmember Jurisic. A resolution acknowledging President Donald J. Trump's renaming of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Okay. And we're going back to one for Councilmember Schultz, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan, emergency generators, parish water treatment plants, and booster stations project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto, and that is it.
9, ordinances and resolutions on second reading and final passage.
You want to go over the deferrals?
Yes. Can we get all deferrals before?
I have a list, and this is what we have so far on the list. 9A3, 9G.
The deferral withdrawal.
I was going to say them all at once, but yeah, okay. 9A3 is deferred. 9G, deferred.
Hold on, 9G.
9N, defer. 9R, defer. And 11B, deferred.
11 what?
B is in boy.
No, he's here. He's
I
here.
know, but I was told by that department to defer it.
Wait a minute. Mr. Regis, you still want to defer, or are you prepared to speak? No, defer it, or you going to speak? Are you deferring this? Or you want to speak today? Okay, well, we defer it till next meeting. Okay. Okay, next meeting.
The following items are being withdrawn. 9C,
Hold on a second, let me get with you. Nine C,
9E, okay. And 9K is also withdrawn. I'm sorry, which one? T, okay.
Okay, withdrawn.
Yes,
and what's happening with T?
T is deferred.
Can you give us a recap again?
9A3,
Hold on a second. 9, 8, 3, okay, withdrawn.
9G, 9N, 9R, 9T, and 11B is also deferred. B, 11B. Oh, withdrawals, I'm sorry. That's 9K. No, you're good? Okay. Do y'all need,
Yeah, go one more time.
okay. 9A3,
983,
9G, 9N, 9R, 9T, and 11B are all deferred. 9C, 9E, and 9K are withdrawn. Yeah, sure.
Trying to go home today.
Brian, can you show them your paper? I'm sorry. We good? Okay.
9A1, an ordinance approving a plan of re-subdivision of Arbella Realty LLC Lot 4A2, Concord Canal Subdivision, Belchase, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, Section 17, T14S R24E into lots 4A3, 4A4, 4A5, 4A6, and 4A7. Concord Canal Subdivision, Belchase, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, Section 17, 1014S R24E, as shown on the plan and plat of survey by Dufresne Surveying and Engineering, Inc., dated October 15, 2024, the owners having fulfilled all of the requirements of the subdivision and re-subdivision ordinance of the parish of Plaquemines without cost to the Plaquemines Parish government or the parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Newsom.
I offer.
Second by Schultz, he did that with a smile.
He did that.
It been offered by Mr. Newsom, second by Mr. Schultz. Machine open.
And audience, ask for the audience.
Any comments from the audience? Administration table? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. David.
We got to reset the machine.
Is this the same one, David Clark, 108 Avenue E, Mel Chase? Sorry. Is this the same one that Ricky Jackson was speaking about with the sewer issues? Have we had that resolved yet? Do we know?
Give me a.
Hold on a second.
Yes, Mr. Clark. We had a meeting with Infomark, Robert Morgan, Troy Phillips, Director DeMarco was in the meeting. We got an explanation of what they were talking about here, and everything that has been done on this project to date meets code, and it's all good. Infomark had no problem, administration. Had some council members here, there to speak, and they can, if they have any issues, they can talk about it.
Yeah.
But everything meets code, and it's probably, with the sewer system, again, I said last meeting, we kicked this around, it was spent, parish, I don't know, over $1 million fixing the sewer in the road
Right.
on Concord, so it's,
All right.
Any other comments from the audience? Administration table?
This is just a rezoning, right?
no.
Can you get this for me?
If he wants to do anything on the property, he's still gotta come to us.
Gotta go through the permit department, yes, sir.
On the mic, it doesn't come to us.
Just the permit.
Yeah, he'd have to go to the permit office and get whatever he wants done. What's been told by the developer, he wants to put some duplexes in there.
Any other comments from the table? Machine is opening. And it passes 9-0. Next item, please.
2, an ordinance to amend and amended to readopt Section 4 of Ordinance Number 142, the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance of Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as amended, and the Comprehensive Zoning District map therein adopted by reference, and which is paraphrased thereto with reference to application number 2025-566 dated January 8, 2025, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember LaFrance.
So often,
Second.
This has changes.
Can you read the changes?
read the changes.
On the third whereas, beginning on line 2, the word favorably has been removed.
On line 2, you said?
No, Well, yeah, the second, 17, I don't know if everybody's adds up.
18.
And then at the end of that sentence, to recommend denial of the map change has been removed. And new language has been added, which states, of a motion to deny recommended map change fail. And that's the change.
Y'all heard the changes?
So often.
Second. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Yes, come on.
Good afternoon, council. My name is Hal Lamb. I own Lamb Enterprises, and I was in the zoning meeting about a month ago where basically the motion for denial did not pass, and I needed a simple majority. What we're talking about is property that I've owned for 25 years, grew up on the West Bank, graduated John Eyre, went to all the public schools there. A little bit of credibility on my end. I am a combat veteran. I served 21 years. I did 17 in the Louisiana Army National Guard. I did 4 in the reserves. I started out as a combat medic because I take care of people. I always had that yearning. I grew that yearning to become a nurse anesthesiologist. I take care of people every day. My integrity is solid. And I've owned this property for 25 years. I've invested in it. I've gotten sloshed, would be a poor word to mention with Katrina. I'm trying to invest and get ahead. I am the person that saw Venture Global coming. I'm not the hindsight person. I just happened to be out of state and working contract work, and I could not physically do that, or else you'd have seen me here 4 years ago saying, hey, they're coming. Now that Gulfstream is on the horizon, and that I'm pretty confident that that's going to happen the same way Venture Global did. Nobody saw the how massive Venture Global would be, and now Gulfstream is using the language that it's not going to be that big. Well, we can't expect that. So I'm a visionary person through my leadership. I retired as a major. I see things sometimes that's not even there. And Gulfstream is coming, and we don't have enough available spots for the future. This is my business risk, no one else. I have the means, I have the wherewithal, and I have the energy. And so I'm asking for the council to make a motion for me to move my property from rural agricultural to mobile home. That's the first step in this. And I want to add to that before you consider this. If you have what I have in front of me, you can see how serious I am about this. This is not no yard park. I'm going to say that again. Not a yard park. So this is serious business. I believe it's going to take me about $500,000 to do the infrastructure the way I want to do it. I want to make a premier RV park in the middle of the parish, and I want to add to it. I want us to learn something today that you might think about before you go to sleep tonight. I bought this property 25 years ago, and it literally said on the purchase as a land description, 45 miles south of New Orleans along the Mississippi River on the West Bank side, Lot C of the Magnolia Plantation. I spent $5,000 to get that changed over into a township section range with pivots and pivots right there. Excuse me, in the parish. But 20 years ago, something happened to me that I think is very, very valuable to this council and Mr. President as well. I met a lady named Janet Cantwell. She was, we met, let's put it that way. And she described Magnolia Plantation to me and the history of Magnolia Plantation. Gulfstream LNG has pretty much bought most of, or is going to build this Gulfstream LNG in this spot. I happen to own Lot C of Magnolia Plantation. So she proceeded to tell me about a guy named Henry Clay Warmoth, M-O-T-H, was a 26-year-old man from Jersey, New Jersey, a lawyer, came down here in 1868 and was the youngest governor of Louisiana. Now, I'm thinking to myself, man, you gotta be pretty smart to be 26 years old and about 2,000 miles from your hometown and convince the people of Louisiana that you qualified to be the governor. But he did. And more than that, he was a forward thinker. A couple years later, after his governorship, he bought Magnolia Plantation.
What's his name?
And he insisted that the freed slaves, the 1865 was emancipation, and so we were.
Mr. Amram, I just want to let you know your time went out, but I'll allow you some more time, so you might want to.
I'm gonna tighten it
your
up.
salient
Reverend,
points.
I'm gonna tighten it up, thank you. So he proceeded to educate the freed slaves. Just because slaves were free, they had nowhere to go, so a lot of them stayed, and they call them crop shares. I like to call them freed slave for this moment. New Orleans gets the piece of the pie that the birth of jazz was created in New Orleans. Miss Janet Cantwell was the director of Plaquemines Parish Library. This is the lady I'm talking to 20 years ago. She told me that Mr. Warmoth, the landowner, educated the slaves. His wife educated the freed slaves, and that these freed slaves, during the off-season, would go to New Orleans. There's a place there called Congo Square. And that they were the first people to write jazz music down on paper because of their education from Magnolia Plantation. Now, the value of that is.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
So we getting a little bit off subject.
Yeah, that's why I told him, I just told the time in.
Magnolia Plantation, but.
We're well aware of it, yes, sir.
I was gonna correct one thing he said. Jazz was invented by woodland players.
So, that would be.
Yeah.
Okay, so, anyway, I'm just trying to.
Sir, point of order, your time is really up.
Thank you.
And thank you for the historical. Any other comments on the audience? Administration table?
Yeah. Yes, so, Jeff, I guess we're gonna need some help from you, because I attended this meeting, along with Mr. LaFrance, Mr. George, and Mr. Konovich. We attended the meeting. We really gotta, and I'm gonna correct Mr. Lamb, neither denial or acceptance passed. So,
Correct.
what?
The motion was made to deny.
Correct, so we need to start, can we do something because the gentleman came here, or came to the zoning board for a zoning change. So, to make it easier and simpler, the motion should be to accept.
I spoke to Amitra about this, and we've agreed that from here on out, we're only going to do, because all the council really cares about is whether something favorably passed or not.
Right.
If it didn't get the votes to favorably pass, well, then it's not favorably recommended. So I don't know how it came to be that we did a motion to deny, but Amitra and I have discussed that, and we're going to correct that moving forward, because deny to fail is kind of silly, because that don't mean when it comes up for another vote that it would still pass.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, what you care about is whether or not something favorably passed. So we did address that issue and are going to correct it moving forward.
Thank you, yeah, because,
So where we at
in
right
my
now?
opinion, we're voting on a zoning change here. We're voting on a zoning change. That's what we're voting on, to change zoning, zoning. So,
Right. So
anyway, sounds like you took care of my issue that I had at the meeting, and,
yeah, you're making a vote, like the gentleman said, the denial failed, but you don't know if it was up for a vote for favorably, whether or not it would have favorably passed or not. So once again, you could either send it back down, or you could vote based off the denial. And as always, the zoning board's recommendation is just that, a recommendation.
Mr. LaFrance?
Yes. The property that's in question, if you could remember, in April, the next door neighbor had wanted to increase his RV park to 70. board voted against it. As you remember, I had all the signatures from the family in Diamond that said they didn't want that in their community. I noticed my community totally changed now. Just this week, we dealing with trash in our Diamond Park. We know that ain't came from the people who live there. When you pass through, in the parish, you can,
I'm
out
gonna call
parish.
point of order again, because we did call a question, and once we call a question, there's no more discussion.
No, that's not true.
Call for no question.
No, we didn't call for
I
question.
called
Well, I didn't recognize the question.
point of order.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. So he have a right to speak.
Yeah. And you heard several residents from our community that said they didn't want it. You know, as you see, when you go up and down, the parish, you notice there's a whole lot of empty trailer spots. And it's gonna be more and more, because more, Venture Global, the more they lay off people, less and less people that's gonna be working. We have a lot of empty spots. There is no need. The people don't want it. We still haven't provided, the water pressure that we need. And Diamond, we have that cast iron pipe. People in the community don't want it. We have enough RV spots.
But you through, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
My question, Rini, is that, seem like, so this something that should go back to the zoning board? Because I'm really wondering why we're voting on it if Amitra say something need to be changed. Seem like to me this is something that should go back to the zoning board, and seem like we superseding the zoning board. I mean, that's just my opinion. Can you explain that to me, if I'm wrong or not?
It's really, yeah, I mean, it's really up to the council. You know, you don't have to, but if you want another full vote to see if in fact there are enough members voting in favor of, then, you know, to help you in your quest to make the right decision, then that certainly is an option.
Ms. Schultz, you willing to?
I just want to verify, you still have a moratorium in your
Yes.
district? Okay, that's all I need to know. I want to verify.
Now, the moratorium, there, only applications that were put in prior to, were exempted from that moratorium. Now, I don't know if this is one of them or not, but I assume it was, before because Amitra let it through, so.
So, Mr. Franz, what's your pleasure? You want to go?
I'm not supporting it.
No, I'm saying what you want to do now. You want to keep going, or you want to send it back to the zoning board? You want to vote on it? Okay. Any other discussion? From the audience, administration? Yeah. Okay.
This
Yeah.
is considered spot zoning. We never did support spot zoning.
So, a yes vote is mean that we're agreeing to take this up now.
Change, don't we?
To change the zoning, to change the zoning.
A no vote,
And a no vote,
we don't change the zoning.
and we don't change the zoning.
That's it.
Okay. Machine is open. And
The motion failed.
the motion failed. 9-0. Okay. Next item.
B, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvement plan, District 3 recreational park project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz. And this has changes.
Yes.
All right, the changes are on line 13, crossing out 25,000, and it will become 40,000. And with that, I'll offer with the changes. Ask for a second.
It's been offered by Councilman Schultz. Can we get a second? Can we get a second?
Right.
Second by Councilman Goulet.
And I'd like to just briefly explain the reasoning behind it. So originally, we had enough for the park and everything. Kind of at the request of administration, Billy, we put a fence all around a lot more than just the true park area to help with keeping four-wheelers out and grass cutting and all that. And that fence quote came out to what, like $60,000, Billy? Something around that, and it was a lot more than what was expected, but it was going to a bigger purpose, so to kind of wrap up the park, I'm asking for just a little bit more money. And so that's it.
It's kind of it.
Yeah, I agree, kids need the parks to play in, but can't we wait for a grant? You don't want to defer it for a grant? I'm for this, but.
I have asked for a grant.
Well, let's wait and see if we could get one.
I'll wait if you want me to.
Want to defer it, you can. That's where I'm at.
Do we, yeah, I'll wait one more week and reintroduce it because I want to see what the list is for the grants. So I'll wait. I'll agree to that. I'll defer it.
So,
But we need can we go back to 8 and reintroduce it? Oh, I thought it was.
you want
Yeah,
to,
it is.
Yeah, it is.
huh?
It's falling off.
Yeah, it would fall off. No, it's been
I don't
deferred. No, it's just this time it's the change, first time with the changes.
So we gotta reintro it?
I'll have to get the number. But yeah, if we could go back and reintroduce it.
Yes.
Yes, just that way it doesn't get missed.
You want to do
Yeah,
that now?
I agree with you, Hava.
Introduction of ordinances and resolutions.
An ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvement plan, District 3 recreational park project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto, and it's Councilmember Schultz.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilman Schultz, the only thing I would just wanted to say about this park, because it look like we nickel and diming. Could you tell us what it costs to do this park? I mean, I don't know where it's at, but I know we've been back and forth with it on this park, so you know how much
This
work
is
need to
my
be
only,
done. Huh?
this was the only second request. The original one was back a year ago.
I'm saying, that's what I'm saying, it's another request, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You have the
because
total amount,
We're finally at the point to actually start installing equipment and stuff, and that's kind of where we're at is.
and this will complete it? But
I believe so, correct, Ms. Morrison? This will be basically it, that with the rest of the funds in this, it will basically be, this is the last request. That's why I've been waiting so long. I was trying to get a final number where we weren't going back and forth.
Okay, Patty?
I was just wondering, do we know how much total we're putting into the,
I have to pull the original project. when we-
okay, do you know how much we allocated last time?
No, that's what I'm saying, I got pulled.
Oh, you don't know how much you
I
asked for
mean,
last time? Okay. I know.
yeah, it was
There was a number.
something, I don't know exactly.
Okay, it's been deferred, so next item, please.
D, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvement plan, repairs, Diamond Park project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember LaFrance.
We're gonna defer it and reintroduce it. I think it's probably gonna drop off.
Yes.
So she did introduce it, right? Reintroduce it today.
That's the one that
Yep.
you gave me, right? Yeah, we did.
Just did it, so why we can't do it? All right. So you want to do that as the introduction?
We
She
already,
reintroduced it.
yeah.
Next item, please.
F, an ordinance to amend the 2025 operating expenditure budget coastal zone levy general department and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
Offer?
Yeah, I think we still want to defer that, correct? Yeah.
Yes.
They can defer that.
You deferring this? Okay. This is E, huh?
No,
We deferring E.
Okay, then that's,
E was withdrawn.
Withdrawn, I'm sorry, it was. Next item.
H, a resolution to create a policy for any business that uses large quantities of water shall be required to have their own tap installed at their respective place of business and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Juristich.
I offer the changes. Jeff, do you have?
Well,
We didn't get anything.
We gonna amend this, Jeff?
To say what? What's that?
well, I called, I tried to call you and I called, Mr. Morgan. He was hoping that we defer this, could have some more conversation about that because his position, he don't think it should be parish-wide. And he discussed everything, so I'm hoping that we can defer and he could be present to talk about what objection he had to it.
Okay, yeah, because I thought we had some conversation, but I don't guess we were ready.
But we are currently drawing up some ordinance amendments to the water billing, the taps, the float meters. It's sitting on my desktop, still going through some amendments, and I'll send that to you guys within the next couple of days.
Yeah, I'd like to get it
Yeah,
done
yeah.
before the next meeting, because I'm gonna move on. If you don't give me that, I'm gonna go ahead and move on.
You'll get it.
Because I'm-
You'll get it sitting on my desktop.
I don't
I'm
like
just
the-
waiting on a couple of more answers from Infomark.
I'll go ahead and defer
Thank you, Mitch.
H and I.
H and I have been deferred.
J, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvement plans, resurface Highway 11 Empire to Triumph project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Cotton.
Gonna offer for discussion, but, we'll get the list next week. I'll defer it again.
J have been deferred.
We can meet with you next week to discuss options that were given to me. Okay.
I know.
K have been withdrawn. And so we at
L.
L.
An ordinance to amend the 2025 general fund operating expenditure budget, legal judgments department for final judgment settlements for qualified judgment creditors, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
Well, it's under my name, but I don't know what's happening with this. So legal, I offered,
Second.
it's been offered. Legal, you want to explain this for us?
So as you know, there's an ordinance adopted that allows allows judgment creditors to opt in our judgment payment policy. They have to waive cost and fees and judicial interest, and we settle with them for 50% of whatever the original judgment was. This is basically the creditors who decided to opt in for this year. We've done this 2 years in a row now. This is the third year we're doing this, and this is to clear these judgments off the books.
I offered. It was second. I didn't even remember that. Audience,
And I want to thank Jock for his hard work. He administers this program for us every year and does a good job.
administration table. Machine is open. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, again, Ray, thank you all. This is basically under an ordinance. We really have to adopt this because we have an ordinance on the books that says we have to do this, correct?
Yeah, well, this is the policy. So if we want to clear out judgments and get some of these off the books, this is the policy the council adopted. Now, it's the appropriations is up to the council. So right now, we have money to pay this, so we think it's appropriate that we go ahead and pay it off. If we decided to do it in the future and we didn't have enough money, it could be paid out over installments. But with this amount and with the amount of monies we have available, it's our recommendation that we go ahead and get these off the books.
And I know, Jack, thank you and your legal team for this effort.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Anyone else on the table? I just want to say this. I remember a lady was here a couple of weeks ago talking about how we deal with judgment. I don't know if we settled that or not, so I'm hoping what we're doing would help eliminate, I think she was from your district. Mitch?
She has the opportunity, like everyone else, to opt in, but she's chosen not to opt in, and so that's the current status of that.
Okay, sorry, Mitch.
But I do know that, we did give them I wanted to give them at least some reconsideration, and I know we haven't moved forward on none of that, but y'all was out of town at the last meeting. So, we did kind of agree to look back into it and see if there was some sort of settlement we could work up. But that's all. I just wanted to, that's the way we left it.
Yeah, that's all. That's
Yeah, and look, I don't mind meeting with you all to explain to you kind of what we did and how we did it. I'm uncomfortable generally changing the rules since this rule has been working. I don't want to be in a situation where we're treating people differently based off of who they are or how much they come and, speak their mind at these council meetings. We just need to be very aware of that. And so I would be willing to meet with all of y'all, discuss how and why this policy was adopted. And then if you all want to talk about changing the policy, I will certainly be part of those discussions and, we can go from there.
Yeah, thank you for that. I was just trying to get clarity. So
Yes, sir.
for that. The machine is open.
L, and that's for the final judgment.
And it's passed 9-0. Next item.
An ordinance authorizing the parish president to execute fair and festival CEAs with the Plaquemines Social Aid and Pleasure Club, Plaquemines Parish Heritage and Seafood Festival, Plaquemines Parish Orange Festival, the Plaquemines Parish Community Development Group, and the Croatian American Society, and at his discretion, depending on the availability and need to allocate certain PPG property and resources to those organizations hosting said festivals in conformity with Article 3 of Chapter 17.5 of the Parish Code of Ordinances, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Champagne.
I offer and hope that Councilman Edwards would like to amend this.
Yeah, I'd like to, I second it. I would like to offer two amendments. One, on this Saturday, we having the Plaquemines Parish Down the Road Mardi Gras Festival that we've been here for some years now that draw anywhere between 4,000 people every year. It's one of the biggest events. It's sort of like our East Branch Orange Festival on this side of the river. And I think on every year they need a lot of resources for it. This year, the parish helped tremendously with some generators and rock. And so I want to offer to Plaquemines Parish Mardi Gras and also Prominent Youth, which is one of our biggest 501c3 organization. Most of y'all knew the work that they're doing. I know they have done tremendous work in conjunction with the Plaquemines Parish government. So I'd like to offer those two groups and hope that everything we do, those two names will be included.
And the legal department supports that. The only thing I will say is that the 501c3s, I forgot about this when we talked about this earlier. There is a rule currently in the ordinance that those 501c3s should have been in business for at least 5 years. And I don't know if that's true of yours or not, the organization itself, but that's a rule that's in the ordinance. Now, we could look at that in the future, but I just wanted to make that point. But I say go ahead and add them in, and we'll move from there.
And I'm not sure if they could be right at 5 years or not. I'm really not sure.
We'll just include them and we'll.
Okay.
We have to amend it, we'll amend it.
Okay. Thank you for including those two. I offer with the changes. I'm sorry, Conover.
I didn't get with Avery because I had the questions about the Orange Festival, other groups using parish property and not following our rules. Like I got complaints from the Seafood Festival to see if we could make sure that the One Sack Challenge cleans up after their event, because every year they have to go out there and clean the field of crawfish before they have their own festival.
Okay. We'll certainly work that in to see, like, if you have specific issues, go ahead and email me, or I haven't read Avery's emails, but we'll certainly take a look at that. And if it's not already clear in the CEAs that we sign with these individuals or these organizations, we'll go ahead and include that in the language.
Mitch?
Yes, while we're amending, we do have the Empire South Pass Tarpon Rodeo, and I wanted to get with y'all on that. And instead of coming back later with another CEA, I would like to amend it to add that as well.
Yes.
Can we amend this in a way that, because it's basically, in the whereas it says hold annual fair and festival events, but then we start spelling out everybody. At some point, we're going to have to add 15 organizations. Can we amend this in a way that follows the code as long as they're holding the annual fare 5-year requirements that you mentioned, that way we don't have to keep coming back amending this
So
ordinance.
the way the ordinance is set up, it's actually, and when I say the ordinance, I don't mean this. I mean the ordinance that allows all this to take place. It really takes action by the council. Now, if we want to basically allow the administration to make these decisions, if they meet the minimum criteria, I would really recommend we change that ordinance and go from there. So that's really up to y'all. I went ahead and did a resolution, or an ordinance, whatever this is, for the ones that we absolutely know happen every year, because it is a lot of busy work for us, and it's not really, it's a lot of busy work. So I was trying to knock out the ones we definitely knew, to handle this in advance. But if the council wants to give the administration the authority to move on some of these things, if they meet the minimum criteria, then we can certainly do that as well. But that's up to y'all.
Do we want to defer this and work on that instead?
I would not want to defer it. I would like these two names added to it. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, let's go ahead and pass this, and then we
We
will.
could come back, Schultz, if you don't mind, and do the other, but I would like to see these two.
When is your function, Mr. Jurist? You? And all, okay. Well, we can go ahead and add this one now. Let's go ahead and add this one, add that one, and that way we can cover, because Croatian's coming up and some of the other ones. And then I'll get with Mr. Champagne or Mr. Schultz, and we'll revise the broader ordinance, and then that way that'll take care of other things down the line.
hold on. I think
Yeah.
It's not really ever gonna be.
But they gonna be ready. Okay, that's okay.
But keep it in there.
That's how we was adding in anyway.
Yeah, still add it, just it'll have to be.
Yeah. Yeah. It been motion, it been seconded by Mr. Conover. Any, comments from the audience? Administration table?
Voting on the amendment right now.
Okay.
Clarify the amendment.
The amendment is adding the three names that were just added, the Blackman Parish, Mardi Gras, Prominent Youth, and the Empire. Say it again? Salt Path Rodeo. We amended to add those three names.
You want to put Independence Day, or if we ever have?
We good? Okay. Call for a vote. This is a vote for the amendment. Only.
That's the.
Patty, you voting? And the amendment passes 9-0. Now we actually voting on the ordinance itself as amended. Patty vote. And it passes 9-0. Next item, please.
O, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvement plan, overlay Epsilon Street project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember McCarty.
I'll second.
Any comments from the,
We were going to defer this. Mr. Babin was actually going to come to the next council meeting. Oh, I'm sorry. I saw the screen. I thought that's what y'all were voting on. Sorry.
We're on O.
But Mr. Babin will be here at the following meeting, so if y'all have any questions of him, y'all can ask him.
we don't know, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sorry.
Been offered and seconded.
It been offered and second. Any comments from the audience? Administration table? Mr. Konovich?
Can you defer it and wait for the list of grants to see if we could get grant money to do roads?
Can we get grant money to do roads? I don't know if we can get grant money to do roads.
We're gonna talk, okay?
Well,
So what that mean? We can get grants for this? Are we going with this or
I
not?
think we can get grant money for roads.
why not?
Well, because right now grants are being deferred in the federal government. I have a grant request for 7.5 million, and that's on hold right now, and it was already approved. by the federal government.
Because I got an ordinance wanting 5 million to redo a highway, and we're gonna wait to see if we could get grant money or something to do it, so
But the one I have was already approved and it's being held.
I can't help what the federal
I'm just
government
saying-
does, but
The one you approve is the one we're on now?
No.
Okay, right now, we're on 9-0. Mr. Newsom?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, Ms. McCarty, we spoke about this earlier. I went over there and looked at this street twice. This is basically a cut-through. We want to spend $165,000 of taxpayers' money for, when we do not have one front door facing the street. As Mr. Conovich just said, we have major road repairs in everybody's district where people, front doors act. I have one in my district. I'm sure everybody can have at least 2 or 3 in their district. The street is a rock road. I'm sure Mr. Wishes adds rocks to a lot of roads, and I'm sure if it needed rocks, he would, he's going to be able to put some rocks on this road. As it said yesterday when I drove it, it was in great shape. I don't see where this is a need. This is not. I don't think this is a need. So I can't. I can't. Yes, it was donated to. It was this was originally this was a lot that I looked on through back and how did it become a road. Back it was a lot. The parish did some drainage work there, and it was Mr. Hero's the Hero Land Company's property. They donated to the parish. I think it was back in 2017. And I guess over that time we put some rocks on this road to basically as a cut through. I know in your email you talked about EMS, reached out to EMS, and they say they go to the Battle House once or twice a month on an average. So, and they said when they leave, they back in and leave out of Beta. They don't take a left to go down that rock road to come out on Culvert. Which, again, so that's my opinion, and I'm done. Thank you.
Mr. George?
Yes, when I look at this kind of project, I look at it as more of a want and not a need. We have a lot of needs, serious needs, and we got a lot of wants too, believe me.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know, the wants cosmetically look good, but the needs, to me, far outweigh the wants at this time. That's just my opinion.
Mr. Schultz?
Yes, so, to kind of follow up on Mr. Newsom, is this actually a road? Because, at this point, because on the assessor's website, it looks like it's still a lot that is owned by Plaquemines Parish government based on the donation stuff. So it's really, are we creating a road that was put there at one time for convenience? I don't know the answer. And then again, I know I have rock roads that, and I know Dr. Gooey does too, that he probably gets calls about that they want paved because some of our districts, rock roads divide. One side is mine and one side is Dr. Gooey's. But it's one of those things that right now we don't have the money to really do. So that's why we've been putting it off. So with that, I yield.
Okay. As far as the question, is it really a road? It's being used as a road, Epsilon, from Covert Street all the way from Pie Street. Epsilon is a road. And that one second.
I'm sorry, see, I kicked off.
Do you know about that issue? If it's considered a road, it is being used as a road. And we are putting shell on it as a road.
Okay, speaking of Mike, Mr. President.
I mean, I was thinking of
don't wanna
Rennie
be-
to answer, but
Yeah, I don't want to talk negative on this here, but it's basically, it's mostly used as a bypass. I mean, it really could, if anything, it could be, I don't know, if it's more of a, it says a right-of-way when you look at the assessor's office. So what is there, because the canal that goes, You know, you got that canal that goes to the ditch.
Yeah.
I think it's a culvert that goes underneath there so you're going on top of a right of way, which I don't
The
think
houses are on top of that.
No, your house wouldn't be on top of a culvert. Yeah. Yeah, Bill.
Please speak, Bob.
If you're asking a yes or no question, no, it's not a dedicated street. It is parish property. There's a drainage servitude, and then there's a big wide space. It's used they put rocks to it because everybody was crossing it when it was dirt anyway. That's, years ago, they've done that, but it's not technically a dedicated street with measurements that you can go out and mark off and all of that. It would take a lot.
Why did engineering approve this?
You'd have to ask engineering that. Now, I do know from engineering, it has been talked about putting it as part of that full length of Epsilon, which included concreting the rest of the asphalt plots all the way to the opposite end. But I would assume it's never been done for the same reason as a lot of other projects, funding. They never had funding, so they never pursued it.
Okay.
It's the parish's property. The parish could make it a road if they had the funding and the approval from council to do so, but as of today, it is not.
So let me address the other issues just for edification. The back entrance to the base has now become the front entrance to the base. And the traffic from Bell Chase Highway to the new front entrance to the base is bumper to bumper. So the people are choosing to take Epsilon to get out of the base and to get out of the construction area. And I've asked for this section to be covered with more rock several times. I don't know if Christian's here, but I sent the picture so that you could see the beginning and the end of the road that has holes and is containing water. And Mr. Newsom says that he spoke with EMS. I assume that was in Plaquemines Parish?
Yes, ma'am.
Because more than Plaquemines Parish goes to this facility, Padua. Padua is for physical health and for mental health, not only for our residents, but mostly for our residents. And to avoid the traffic, many times they take this road as well. So this route is being taken by an increased number of vehicles.
More now than it's ever been.
Yes,
Everyone would probably agree with you on that. But
yes.
like Mr. Schultz mentioned, Mr. Schultz and Mr. Gui also have similar situations in their districts that are dedicated roads. And there are some circumstances that still prevent those from becoming wide open public roads. So it's not as easy as just, we own it, let's make it a private road. But the funding, you have to convince your counterparts, not me.
Yeah, well,
The road needs to be done.
how often do you think you can cover the shell on this road since it's being used by increased traffic?
How often can we do it?
Yeah, because I've asked a couple of times and it's got holes in it right now.
Yep, and we fix it every time. So it's a recurring thing. It goes away. It doesn't, fix it once, it ain't forever. So
Right.
if you keep telling me to go fix it, we'll keep going and fix it. And really, you don't even, I shouldn't say it.
Fix it every
We'll
month.
Keep checking it. When it needs fixing, we'll fix it.
Fix it every month.
Oh,
If we don't do that.
we got some problem with it if you do yours every month. Ms. Conover?
We can't call the sheriff's department and put a sign up, not a throughway, and stop traffic from going on it at all.
You could treat it like the other roads in the other districts. You could, yes. But we've learned that there's 6 one way and half a dozen the other, right? Some people want it open, some people don't.
Can,
Ms. Schultz?
I'll second, or go
I
ahead.
truly believe if we could put some bollards up or put some barricades, we're not going to get any kickback from anyone in these neighborhoods. Like my parents live right there on Beta Street, and
It's
what you're creating is a throughway, and you're just creating something that we don't need.
We could put cement blocks up.
Yeah.
Nowhere to have any?
Yeah, I know where one is. If we don't do that, I don't know what Ms. McCarty's wish is, but I mean, the pictures that she showed does need rocks. I don't know if she wants the rocks or the bollards, but, to prevent the cut through, but can you go look at it tomorrow for the rocks? Just, I do agree that it needs some rocks, at least if that's what we're gonna treat it as.
Yeah, if I don't personally look at it, I'll send someone.
And settle for keeping it up with rocks.
Withdraw, and Pat is also suggesting, Billy, that you do that on re-rock some stuff on these banks. We'll talk about it since you're agreeing to re-rock. Next item, please.
Don't say that.
P, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvement plan, replacement waterline Highway 23 Port Sulphur project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember LaFrance, this has changes.
Online. I'm sorry? Okay. On line 5, we're adding 4 engineering design services, and on line 6, construction cost estimate is $6 million, funding of which is to be determined at a later date.
6 million?
Yes. And then we also have to put the same language that it's for engineering design services, construction cost estimate, 6 million of funding, which should be determined at a later date in section 1. And that's the changes.
So often.
Been offered, Mr. Francis, second by Mr. Conover. Any comments from the audience? Yeah. You want to amend this?
So, on line 13, crossing out designated for surplus and then change it fund balance designated for emergency, because talking to the water department, the amount of taps on this, if this fails, it will be an emergency. So, it's just basically changing the funding source, but that all for that.
What line you said?
Line 13 and 14, crossing
13
out
and
designated for surplus and changing it to designated for emergencies. It's just a funding source change.
You good with that, Mr. Francis?
Yes, sir. Get it done. That's what emergency fund is for.
Yes, sir. I agree.
Yeah.
So we got to vote on the amendment, right?
Right, but we need a second.
Second.
It's been offered by Mr. Schultz, and second by Mr. Newsom, to change it from designated fund to emergency. We're gonna vote on the amendment now. And the amendment passed. Now we're gonna vote on the ordinance as, with the amendment, with the changes. Any comments from the audience on the amendment? Or the resolution, the ordinance itself? Table, machine is open. And it passes 9-0.
Q, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvement plan, Port Sulphur Water Treatment Plant, Clear Well Replacement Project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember LaFrance, this has changes.
The original change, the 600 in the digest, it reads 620,000, and the 500,000 was removed. And it's for engineering design services and related construction costs. And that same information is put in section 1, and the amount has changed. Wait, am I doing? Okay, all right. Yeah. And that's the changes.
So what's the amount?
Mr. 620. Do you mind one more change?
Go ahead.
Amendment, changing the fund balance designated surplus to designated as emergencies.
Absolutely.
Same thing, same concept. It's this one is truly emergency, that fails.
Yeah.
Line 15.
And so what's the amount?
620,000.
You offer the amendment?
No, we're gonna do it as a change
Oh, yeah,
instead of doing an amendment.
got it.
So we're doing 620,000 and we changing emergency, huh?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
offer with change.
Offer.
Been offered and second. We done did all that.
Sure. Yeah, and these were, these were okay by the administration. They, the 620 reason price is because, when, if the clear well gets taken out, they need that much extra money for a new tank, so the plant can keep running.
Yeah, the increase is for temporary tanks while the clear well is being, while it's taken offline. We need temporary tanks to still function as a clear well.
And the new clear well It's gonna be larger than the one we have presently.
It's going to be a little bit larger, yeah. We're going to, currently, it's about 35,000 gallons. We're going up to 50,000.
And that's gonna accommodate,
Say that again?
and it's gonna accommodate, all the industry that we have in the past.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. And all the RV parks.
More of it.
So what are we doing now?
We're voting on the legislation.
Voting on the legislation. Machine is open. Patty. And it passes 9-0.
S, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvement plan, water line extension Cedar Grove to Oakville project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Jurist, this has changes.
Been offered. Second. Okay.
In the preamble, the fund balance has been, I'm sorry. It reads, for engineering design services, and then on line 6 of the digest, construction cost estimate is $1,800,000 to be requested through Louisiana Department of Health. Emerging containment loan at a later date, and those are the changes.
This one, I would also like to add the line 14, changing from surplus to prospective grants, since this will be forgiven and we'll put the money back in at that time. So basically changing this designated for surplus to designated for prospective grants. Line 5 as well, yes, from surplus to prospective grants.
Second.
Offer, second by Mr. Newsom. Any comments from the audience? Administration table. Machine is open. And this passes 9-0.
U, an ordinance to amend the 2025 general fund operating expenditure budget legal judgments department for payment of a pending legal claim and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
Offer.
This was a personal injury claim that Jock negotiated with opposing counsel. We settled it on terms that we thought were favorable to us. So in lieu of going to court and fighting this thing and wasting more parish attorney time on this, we're recommending settlement.
Any other comment? Machine is open. All right, the turn. Yeah. Okay, machine is open. It passes 9-0.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
10, approval of the minutes from the February 13th, 2025 regular meeting.
Second.
Been open and second. Sheet is open. Champagne? 9-0. Next item.
11C, District 8 update. Councilmember Jurist, sunken culverts on Highway 23.
Yes, Yes, I've been in a lot of contact with DOTD lately, and I was able to make some good contacts with them. And if you go up and down the highway, I know my colleague, Councilmember Konovich, has been complaining about these same sinkholes. Brought it to DOTD's attention. It's no longer just a sinkhole, it's a death traps. And they did go out and mark most of them. For the most part, they have them marked very well. And they started to repair some of the simpler ones. They brought it to my attention that each one of those costs around $200,000 to $250,000 to repair. I said, well, that's cheap compared to lawsuits that you may incur, because when I tell you it's these things are pretty bad. I know Councilmember Conover, sees them as well. So I did want to say, they are working on them. If you go down the road, you'll see most of them have been now marked off by DOTD. We had our safety guy was trying to keep them marked, but DOTD's on them now. I just want to pass that on.
On some, they own all of them. 'Cause I brought the guy down a couple of years ago and showed him every one. Some of them I stood in the hole and my head was underneath the road. That's how deep they are. And if somebody pulls off the road, that's gonna be a bad accident. We need to start pushing them to fix these. Thank you.
Any more discussion? All right. What's for adjournment? What's that second? Machine is open.
347.
The council meeting adjourned at 3:47.
Slam it, Rep.